When it comes to interviews, some people may argue that the question and answers they are quite tough. But this is a reality that you may be asked anything. The person who is on the other side of the table, he may ask you everything from everywhere. But there are certain questions which are ought to come. They will be asked, and they are considered to be some tough questions. So we'll look after this question today, and I will try to answer that how the best possible answer can be given. First is, why do you want to work in this industry? And this industry can be any industry. We can answer in this way. I love the shop. Even a kid, I spend hours flipping through catalogs. If the shop is like this, the don't just say like it, because anyone can do that. This is just a naive answer, and this answer has no gravity. Just focus on your history with that industry. If you are from software, focus on your software industry. And if you can tell your success story at this question. Means I've always loved shopping, but my interest in retail marketing really started when I worked at neighborhood boutique. I knew our clothes were amazing, but that weren't marketing them properly. Then you will say that I worked with the management to come up with a marketing strategy that increased our sales by 25% in a year. Now here you told a success story. And it was great to be able to contribute positively to an industry I feel so passionate about and help promote a product I really believe in. Now this answer has gravity. It has showed or presented your contribution, your importance to the organization you're working. I hope this answers this question. Second is, tell us about yourself. Now, this is the first question. This is calming down question. So whenever you enter, this is first thing. Tell me about yourself. And some people would say, I graduated 4 years ago from this university with bachelor in biology or bachelor in technology, but I decided that wasn't the right path for me. I switched gears and got my first job working in sales for a startup. Then I went on to work in marketing for a law firm. After that, I took a few months off to a travel. You know, then I came back and worked in marketing again. Now here I am looking for more challenging marketing role. So now, if the job is of marketing, say this is example we have taken. This is what we call as a bad answer. Now, a person who is trying to present his personality, his for this job, he has started from. He has actually explained his life, but the good answer is not like that. So you are just giving a chronological work history. You are not focusing on your strength and how this role is connected to that history. And no examples are given. You will be given time for this. You can argue, you can answer in the manner which is appreciable. So let us see a good answer about that. I'm really energetic and good communicator. Working in sales for 2 years helped me build confidence and taught me the importance of customer loyalty. I've also got a track record of success. In my last role, I launched a company's newsletter, which helped us build an existing relationship. We created new ones. Because of this, we ended up seeing a revenue of 10% over 2 years. I'm also interested in how companies can use web tools to better market themselves and would be committed to building on your existing platform. Now, this shows your loyalty to the work, your workability, what you have done. So these are your real strength, and you have exemplified also. This is consumed or by this interviewer as a good answer about yourself. So you have told about your job, your strength, and then you have tried to give importance to the workability or your dedication and devotion for the work. So this is how you answer this type of questions. Then let me tell you that these interviews, certainly whatever you answer will be based on that only. So try to give those examples or those stuff about which you can answer in the later questions. What do you think about your previous job? The bad answer would be was completely incompetent nightmare to work with, which is why I moved on. Here, if you get the job, the person who is interviewing you, he may be your job, one of them may be taking your job, or he'll be your boss. So this is how you have initially, in your experience or in your interview, only showed that you don't give any credit to your boss, and you are thankless also. So stay positive, focus on what you learned from him. Like this, my last boss taught me the importance of time management. He didn't pull any punches and was extremely deadline driven. And his no nonsense attitude pushed me to the work harder and meet deadlines I never even thought were possible. This is a good positive, because you always learn something from anyone. Even if you consider him as a bad person, you'll admire him for something. But those admiration has to be presented here. Now you'll be asked about why are you leaving your current role, because you have been working somewhere. Now they want to know whether you left the job, or you have been thrown out of the job, or what are the scenario you're looking for. The bad answer would be I can't stand my boss, or the work I'm doing, I don't like it, or I want some future growth. I was not satisfied. As I said, just stay away from bad mouthing your job or employer. Just try to take positive things out and present those positive things. So, what will be the good answer? Just as an example, I've learned a lot by my current role, but I'm looking forward for new challenge to broaden my horizons and gain a new skill set. All of which I see the potential for in this job. I see this job will give me a new boost, my career boost, or my skill set would be increased. Then, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And this is a question because employer would want you to stick to your company. They would not hire you for 2 months, 3 months, and just jumping into jobs, various jobs. And they'll be teaching you also. They'll be giving you training. So relaxing in a beach in Maui and doing your job, or maybe 5 years, I'll earn more than what you are offering me. So these are kind of wrong or bad answers. So there's really no right answer to this question. But the interviewer actually wants to know your ambitions and say your career orientedness or committed. Are you committed to the future of the company? So just don't share dream after retirement, and don't try to be funny because this interview will be formal. And even if your interviewer smiles, don't smile back. Just give us sweet, not very enlarging smile. Just try to answer about your time and commitment. So the answer would be in 5 years, I would like to have an even better understanding of this industry. Also, I really love working with people. Ultimately, I would like to be in some type of managerial role at this company where I can use my potential skills and industry knowledge to benefit the people working for me and the company as a whole. This is what we call a good answer. Then, what are your greatest weaknesses and strength? This question is very obvious. This will be asked. Bad answer would be I work too hard, and for the comedian, blondes. So you have an opportunity here to put your positive spin or something negative. People generally tend to answer in the positive, making their positive as their weaknesses. But you don't want your answer to be a cliche. Just don't joke or not. Instead, try to use a real example for weakness you have learned to overcome. In this, you can say that I have never been very comfortable with public speaking, which, as you know, can be an hindrance to the workspace. And I've realized that this was a problem, and I asked my previous employer if I could enroll in speech workshop, and he's actually helped me, and he said yes. And I took the class, was able to overcome my lifelong fear. And since then, I've given a lot of presentation to audiences of over 100 high-level executives. I still don't love it, but no one else can tell, right? This is how you presented your weaknesses. There was a weakness, you did everything to overcome it, and now you're presenting that this was my weakness. Still is, but I've worked and I've overcome this weakness. Now the question would come about salary for sure, because salary is important. We are working to get salary. The bad answer would be I would not say bad answer, but it would be my last job. I earned this much amount. Now I'm looking for this much amount. So, what my suggestion is that if you can avoid this, just don't give an exact number, because the first person who will name a price, salary negotiation, he will be losing most often. Reiterate your commitment for the job, and if you have to give a broad range based on research you have conducted on that particular role in a particular city, then you can answer in this. So the good answer would be like this: that I'm more interested in the role itself than the pay. That said, or having said that, I would expect to be paid the appropriate range of this role based on my 5 years experience. I also think the fair salary would bear in mind the high cost of living here in New York City or in Mumbai or in Hong Kong. Then why should I hire you? This is again a very obvious question. It will be asked. The answer would be I'm the best candidate for the role. Now, it is good that you have confidence, but a good answer will reiterate your qualifications and will highlight that will make you unique. Others, there are people who are in being interviewed. You need to be best of them. For that, you can say I've been so and so for past 10 years, executive assistant for the company for past 10 years. My boss has said time and again, without me the organization would fall apart. He has said, and I've also taken the time to educate myself on the some software which we regularly use. I excel in this software. I can do work faster now. And what we were doing traditionally, I've changed it to now this software. I'm doing this right now. So what's good enough for most people is never really good enough for me. So this is why he is going to hire you. Then what is the greatest failure? And what did you learn from it? The bad answer would be, I never finished law school, and everything that happened since has taught me that giving up just because the going gets tough is a huge mistake. Or I did that thing, I did those things. So you don't want to actually highlight a major regret. You're not being asked about the regret, especially that is going to expose your dissatisfaction with your life. You're not dissatisfied. You're healthy in mind and you work hard. You want to work hard. So focus on smaller, significant mishap and how it made you a better professional, because you are a professional that they are hiring and you need to give a positive energy. So when I was in college, I took an art class to supplement my curriculum. I didn't take it very seriously. I assumed that compared to my engineering classes, it would be walk in the park. My failing grades at midterm showed me otherwise. I would even jeopardize my scholarship status. So I knew I had to get my act together. So I spent the rest of the semester making up for it. Ended up getting a decent grade in the class. So I learned that no matter what I'm doing, I should strive to do it in the best of my ability. So it's not worth doing at all. This can be a very good answer. Then how do you explain your gap in employment? Because many people, they tend to appear in interview with 2 or 3 years of layoff or not working. The bad answer would be, I was tired of working, I needed a break, I just can't find job. Now, if you can't find job, that means you are not good enough to be given a job. And if you're tired, you're working, that means you don't want to work. So employment gaps are always tough to explain. You don't want to come across as lazy or unhireable. So just make a way, find a way to make your extended unemployment seems like a choice you made, on some good decisions or right decisions. So my work is important to me. So I won't be satisfied with any old job. Instead of rushing to accept the first job that comes my way, I was taking my time and being selective to make sure my next role is the right one. This is how you are going to answer. Then when were you most satisfied in your job? I was most satisfied when I did well and I got praised for my work. Now, this is very short-lived answer. Don't give vague answers. Instead, think about something you did well and enjoyed, and that will be relevant at this new job. So this is opportunity. You are being provided an opportunity to share your interest. Just try to prove that you are the greatest person on this Mother Earth whom they would require, and showcase your enthusiasm. So I'm a people person. I'm always happiest, most satisfied, and when I'm interacting with customers, making sure I was able to meet their needs and giving them best possible customer experience. It was my favorite part of the job and showed I was rated as good or excellent 95% of the time. Every time you're talking about. And part of the reason I'm interested in this job is that I know I would have even more interaction with customers and an even more critical level. 12th question would be, what did you like at least about your last job? Again, a tricky question. Now, if you are giving like this, a lack of stability, I felt like the place would collapse around me at any time. Just stay away from anything that draws on the politics, culture, financial health of your previous employer. If you're true, I don't say you may be true about this, but comments like this will be construed as too negative. You don't want to focus on function that might be your responsibility to the next role. So just think of something you disliked in your last job, but that you show for sure won't be a part of this new role. So you can answer like this. There was nothing about my last job that I hated, but I guess there were some things I liked less than others. Like my previous role involved traveling at least twice a month. While I do love to travel, twice a month was a little exhausting. You can increase this traveling, You can say 4 or 5 times. So I didn't like spending quite as much time out of the office. I'm happy to see that this role involves a lot less travel. 13th question would be, describe a time when you did not get along with a coworker. Now, you are supposed to be asked in this manner in various type of questions that, are you a team member? So I'm easy to get along with, so I never had any kind of discord or issue with another coworker. This is just obvious. Everyone is going to answer this in the same way. They don't like this type of easy out answers. And besides, they know you are probably not telling the truth. Just think of relatively not very significant instance and try to spin it to a positive part, this learning experience. So you can just answer like this. I was there. We disagreed on a lot of things, from the care of patients to who got that shifts to how to speak with the child's family. Our personality just didn't mesh. After 3 months of arguing, I pulled her aside and asked her to lunch. At lunch, we talked about our differences and why we weren't getting along. It turns out it was all about communication. We communicated differently. And once we knew that, we began to work together. I really believe that talking to a problem through with someone can help solve any issue. So now you have raised a very good point here, that talking can solve any other issue. So now you are a good team member also. You have presented that. The 14th would be, what motivates you? About motivation, the answer would be like this, obvious, like doing a good job and being rewarded for it. But again, it's not that this answer is wrong again. It's just that you're giving an opportunity, but you're wasting it. So this question is practically begging you to highlight your positive attributes, your strengths. So don't give your vague generic response. It tells that them very little about you. So instead, try and use this question as an opportunity to get the interviewer some insight about your character and just exemplify it. Like, I've always been motivated by the challenge of meeting a tough deadline in my last role. I was responsible for 100% success rate in the terms of delivering our products on time and within budget. So I know that this job is very fast paced and deadline driven. I'm more than up for the challenge, and in fact, I thrive for it. 15th would be, how would your friends describe you? Now this may not be asked, but just for the sake of completeness, because most of interviews, they tend to make the interview informal. So the answer would be a bad answer, I can say, and I'm a really good listener. Again, being a good listener is a great personality trait. Your employer probably doesn't care all that much. It's unlikely that they are hiring you to shoulder to you to cry on that, okay, my things have gone wrong and please listen to me. You'll want to keep your answer relevant to the job, because you are being interviewed for something for which you will be paid as much as specific as possible. So if you can insert an example like this. My friends would probably say that I'm extremely persistent. I have never been afraid of keep going back until I get what I want. When I worked as a program developer, including keynote speakers for a major tech conference, I got one rejection from after another. This was the nature of the job. But I really wanted the big players, so I wouldn't take no for an answer. I kept going back to them every time there was new company, a board, and some new value proposition. Eventually, many of them actually said yes, and the program turned out to be a great success. So a lot of people might have given up after this first rejection. But it's just not my nature. If I know something is possible, I have to keep trying until I get it. So this is how you answer the questions. I hope that this will raise your bar of interview, and you will be giving good answers, thoughtful answers, those answers which are expected from an interviewer and will give you a best job with best salary possible. Thank you so much. All the best.